Alrighty, here's my market predictions for Fernie, British Columbia for 2026. Let's give her a roll. Everybody already knows that the Fernie market slowed down a bit. Prices aren't climbing like they were before, and sales kind of feel a little quiet. And investors, especially the short-term rental crowd, are quietly backing away or somewhat hesitant and being much more patient. But that's not the real question anymore. The question I hear every single week is this: are we close to the bottom in Fernie? Or is 2026 going to hurt more people than expected? Well, because nobody wants to buy too early and nobody wants to wait so long that opportunity passes them by. And that's exactly where Fernie finds itself heading into 2026. This is not going to be a crash. Fernie is not in a free fall. What we're seeing instead is something much more frustrating, and it's called a slow reset. And resets in small mountain towns don't look dramatic. There's no big, juicy headline. There's no panic wave. There's no gong that goes off telling everybody it's time to buy. Instead, it's quiet. Listings sit. Buyers hesitate. Sellers wait. And most people don't even recognize the bottom while it's actually forming. Because real estate bottoms don't feel exciting, they feel boring. So what does a real market bottom actually look like? Well, here's the mistake that most people make. They think markets bottom when things start looking kind of good. In reality, markets bottom when bad news stops pushing prices lower. No bounce, no rally, just a strange pause. And that's kind of the phase that Fernie is approaching. But not fully yet, because pressure is still working through the system. So what's pressuring Fernie specifically, you might ask? Well, let's talk about what actually is happening on the ground in Fernie. Inventory is stickier than locals realize. Homes aren't flooding the market. We're actually down 4.3% across the region, but they're not clearing out either. And that's the danger zone. Enough listings to create choice, not enough urgency to create competition. Investor math has quietly broken. This is the biggest shift. Many Fernie buyers from 2021, 2022 bought at peak pricing, financed at low teaser rates, 0%, 1%, 2%. Those are nice. And they assumed rent growth would just continue and continue. And now interest costs are high, getting higher, and nightly rates have ceilings. Vacancy risk is actually real now, and I'm seeing owners losing some money each month. They're not panicking, they're just exiting. This isn't fear selling, it's spreadsheet selling. Rentals are hitting natural limits, even in a strong lifestyle town like Fernie. Locals can only pay so much. Seasonal demand has ceilings. Carrying costs don't care about vibes. Now, I know what you guys see and think and read, but boomers are not the problem here. Yes, downsizing is happening, but here's what people get wrong. Most Fernie downsizers, they've got an equity in their house, lots of it usually. Flexibility, they're not distressed. They're making lifestyle moves and not fire sales. This adds weight, not a collapse. Now think of it as a snowpack melt, not an avalanche. So what is the silent factor that nobody is talking about? Well, development has quietly stalled. No rentals. No new ownership. We're not seeing what we need to see. We don't need a whole bunch of rental houses. We actually need ownership housing. We need those houses where people can break into the market, not necessarily a bunch of stuff just to rent. We do need a mix, but to have some serious demand for first-time home buyers. Condos, townhomes, spec builds, projects they're being paused, delayed, canceled. Delayed, delayed, delayed. Did I say that? Come on. Let's get things moving here, folks. And that doesn't matter today. But in 12 to 24 months, it's going to matter a lot. Markets don't stabilize while new supply is pouring in. They stabilize when future supply disappears. And that's already happening in Fernie. So what is 2026 actually going to look like? Well, so where is this going to leave us? In 2026, Fernie is shaping up to be not in a rebound, not in a collapse. It's going to be a holding pattern. Prices are going to feel sticky, sellers are going to feel tired, and buyers are going to stay cautious. The bottom forms quietly like a fog lifting after you've already driven through it. So who is this market for, you might be asking? Well, I'll tell you what. This market's going to reward somebody with a stable income, long-term plans, lifestyle-driven decisions, and patience. And this market is actually going to absolutely punish the people that are over-leveraged, short-term speculators, and those trying to nail the exact bottom. You can't do it, and if you do it, good for you. You're just lucky. And if you're an emotional buyer, you run a huge risk here. Fernie has never been a gambling market. It's always rewarded people who understand why they're here, how long they're staying, what risk they're taking. And in closing, most people are still waiting for something dramatic to happen, and it probably never will. Fernie markets don't fall off cliffs, they don't explode, and they don't blow up. They grind, soften, and then quietly turn. And knowing where we are in that cycle matters, but knowing how to avoid a bad decision matters more. And if you want to understand the mistakes that buyers make in markets like this, watch the next video. And I'll take you through and walk you through your specific situation, your lifestyle, your timing risk. Just give me a shout and we'll get you through that. See you on the next one.